So this is my passion project, my COVID pivot, my first child, my first creative baby in making 50 years. Look down, shit you may have missed. And it's a study of things from the looking down, from the lower perspective. So what I found was, when carrying my phone during COVID, that I just had all these pictures of things that I had looked down, take pictures of, because I got to that perspective, I thought it was different. I thought it was unusual. Everybody else takes pictures of things in front of them or above them or with them in it. I'm not in most of these pictures. And then as I started to put the pictures together, I started to realize that the pictures alone weren't enough for a book, that it needed a narrative. It needed some kind of something to sew it through and kind of make it make sense. And in doing that, I started to sort of distill a lot of wisdoms that have been passed down to me by my two grandfathers and my father over the years. And I started to realize that there's a whole sort of narrative of quotes that are inspiring, that inspire mindfulness, that inspire calm, that inspire when you're going into an anxious situation to not be anxious, or just to reflect on how are you living your life, or reflect on yourself, to do inner work. So I think that's really what Look Down is. And then it's just a lot of really cool pictures of my travels of 120 countries. So visually it's interesting. It's a casual, quick glance, or it can be a more in-depth read. Part of what's important about it to me is that during this pandemic, a lot of people are working on projects that don't just all come together like, oh, everything's perfect and magical like that. And this really was one of those projects which was kind of like, what am I doing with all these pictures? Oh my God, I just have all these pictures of this perspective. And then I was like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start an Instagram page. And then I was like, that's boring. And I already have an Instagram page. Why are people gonna look at that Instagram page? And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do an art exhibition. I'm gonna print a bunch of these pictures and I'm gonna go to a friend of mine who has a gallery and we'll do a thing. And then I'll have a screen that will scroll some of the images and some of them will be on the wall. And then I was like, okay, cool. But then still, what is the background to them? What is the connective tissue in between the pictures? And then it took a while to sort of come to me gradually as I looked through these pictures, looked through them, started speaking to Quote Studios about, this idea of this book, and then still sort of kind of going, well, I said, okay, I want to do quotes. And then it was like, well, what are the quotes? Are these going to be quotes of great leaders and men, or is this going to be quotes of, where are these quotes going to come? My quotes, where are they going to come from? And then I started to think, well, what are the quotes that really guided me during these travels? What are the quotes that guide me through my life? And those came from my forebears, my father, my grandfathers, and some of them sort of myself filtered down from, the repetitive nature of your father might lecture you on things over and over and over. And then after all, you start to put them into your own words and thoughts. And that's kind of where that connective tissue came together.